Yeah, hi everyone, good evening. Yeah, quick attendance before we start. Is everyone here now? Okay, 1.0, 2.0, all are here. Samiksha Virupaksha. Okay. Rashmi Dubey, Palak, Abhishek, Patil, T. Nagendra. Okay, great, great. Okay, so let's start our discussion. So today we are going again in South India. Okay, so as we had discussed, and we divide the whole discussion of early medieval in three parts, right? ABC. And right now we are talking about part A. Part A is 600 to 750. Right, this is part A. Part B will be 750 to 1000, and part C is technically chaos, right? It is 1000 to 1200. Yeah, and we are observing that the number of dynasties are increasing. Reason? Because the economy has declined. It is not that great economy right now. And instead of having one single empire, what we are observing now, guys, please confirm कि yeah, please confirm कि I'm audible. Everything is fine. Audio, video, all okay. Yeah, so right now we are in zone A. Until now, we have discussed the four dynasties of the north: later Guptas, Maukharis, your Pushyabhutis or Vardhans, and Matrakas. These four we have discussed, and we realized that the Sthaneshwar, basically the Vardhan dynasty, got expanded into a bigger kingdom, and the last great Hindu king Harshavardhana. Right, so this was the topic of our last discussion. Right, now today we'll be talking about the second half of our country. All fine? Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Brightness too much? Come kar dein? Okay, okay. Chalo. So now to Harshvardhan. So today we are going to cover two main dynasties, two other dynasties. One is your Chalukyas. This is your Chalukyas, and another one is Pallavas. Right, so let's talk about Chalukyas first. Now there are so many types of Chalukyas in history. There are multiple types of Chalukyas. So we will establish, what all Chalukyas are there. But right now we are going to talk about Chalukyas of Badami. So we are talking about Badami Chalukyas. Badami. Right, and Badami Chalukyas. So let's start our discussion from this. Right, Badami Chalukyas. I hope you all have read. You all have studied Harshvardhan. Till that point, we all are aligned. From here, we start our discussion. We are going to talk about Badami Chalukyas. Right, Itsing. Yesterday we were talking about Itsing. So Itsing basically came to India roughly close to 670. Right, 670 to 695. That 25 year zone is basically of Itsing, who has traveled to India. Yesterday we were discussing about him. So yeah, so he has traveled via sea route, not land route. Right, and came back via sea route only. Right, so from Beijing Canton to Tamil. So he had come and he had stayed at Nalanda for almost 10 years. Again, similar reason. He was inspired by Fahim, he was inspired by Yunzang, whatever you call it. Right, so and then he came to India, and then he took a lot of books from here. He wrote his books, and he also took a lot of books from here, and he translated them. Right, so we know him for such kind of translation as well. We're talking about his view on Nalanda University. We got to know that he told us that there were some like 3,000 batchmates, 3,000 students he had. Right, plus it was a great learning center, observatory, the library, the research center, everything was there. Plus some 200 villages were allotted to this Nalanda. Right, and this was something which we had discussed yesterday. But there are a few books like Record of Buddhism sent from the South Seas, Buddhist monks pilgrimage of the Tang dynasty. This is his kind of a travel. He has not told us a lot about his journey, what he has seen in India, what was society and everything. Not much contribution there, but still, few things we get to know from his books. Other than that, he did some translation. So there were few books he translated, like Mool, Saraswati, Vad, Vinay. Right. So he was basically a Buddhist. And which type of Buddhist? Obviously Mahayani, because he's studying from Nalanda University, Mahayani. Right. He's a scholar of Mahayana Buddhism, especially in this Mahayana, Madhyamika. Madhyamika was who was the founder of Madhyamika? Do you remember founder of Madhyamika? Anyone? Dakshinapathanatha, Dakshinapateshwar, both are same. Yes. Madhyamika, anyone? Pericles of the Erythraeans, we don't know the writer, and it's anonymous. Somebody wrote it for us so that UPSC becomes tougher. But who did that? Right, we don't know. So yeah, the Diamond Sutra and etc. are his book. You read that. Nagarjuna, wow, awesome. Very good, guys. Very good. Abhishek Patel, awesome. Priyanshi Tripathi, Sudipta Roy, Gaurav Kumar, Neha Patidar, Usha, Anupurna. Very good, Nagarjuna. Good. Okay, so let's start our discussion. So now today we will look at few minor dynasties as well. As I told you, and our discussion will have some. Our discussion will be focused upon the main dynasty, and then there will be secondary dynasties. Right, secondary dynasties will see where they are, who's the founder, etc. But we will not go very deep in secondary dynasties because we don't expect a lot of ROI, a lot of questions from the secondary dynasty. At least UPSC should ask the primary dynasties first, then go for secondary dynasties. Right. So major focus will be Chalukyas and Pallavas, but there are two more dynasties, or in fact you can say three more dynasties. One is Ganga, one is Kadambas, one is your Pandyas. Right. So let's see. Okay. So let's start our discussion. We start our discussion from Gangas. Right. Gangas. So basically all Chalukyas, when I say Chalukyas, the core part which comes to our mind is Chalukyas means Karnataka. Right. In the map it looks like, when you see the map, it looks like that it is more about Maharashtra. Right. This one. Understood? It looks like its core part is Maharashtra, but it is not so. The capital is Badami. Right, and the capital is Badami. So this is basically the history of Karnataka. So for Karnataka PSC, this is very important. Those who are from South India are basically learners. Right, so learners from Karnataka, especially if you are preparing for Karnataka PSC, you know this is your history. This is Karnataka history. Right, and your means specific to Karnataka, and this is very important topic for your examination. So there you need to go deep in administration and everything all. But here we will not go that deep. Right, it's not required. Yeah, so we'll have basic discussion about Chalukyas. So Chalukyas. So capital is Badami. As I said, this is Badami Chalukyas. Badami. Okay, so we come to Chalukyas, but before that, a small dynasty Gangas. Right, can you see over here? Gangas. Here is a small dynasty Gangas. If you want to mark it, where is Ganga? Basically, you can call them Gangas of Mysore. Right, so you can mark it at Mysore. Mysore. Okay, so let's talk about Gangas first. The chat we need to disable. Huh? Okay, just a second. Titan. Okay. Okay, let's continue our discussion. So Gangas. So basically Gangas and Kadambas. So Gangas basically you can say that Gangas are mostly in southern Karnataka. Right, it is southern Karnataka. Right, and these are Gangas of Mysore. Right, Gangas of Mysore. They are also called as Western Gangas. Why Western Gangas? Who is Eastern Ganga? Eastern Gangas are in Kalinga, Odisha. Right, so they are Eastern Ganga. We'll talk about them later, not in this era, but yes, to distinguish them from the Gangas of Odisha, right, Odisha, and we Gangas of Odisha, we call them Western Gangas. So Western Gangas and Eastern Gangas. They are basically the core part is Mysore. Now they are somewhere between. One side we have. At one side we have Pallavas. On the other side, in northern Karnataka, we have Kadambas. Right, again, Kadambas and Gangas both are small kingdoms. Right, so Gangas. So right now we are talking about Gangas. Now, right, their capital is actually important. Capital is KGF. Right, their capital is Kolar. So they have goldfields. Right, you know goldfields. So that is the reason they are strong. This is their strength. Whatever small dynasty we have over here in southern Karnataka, right, it is because of the goldfield which provides them enough strength to sustain over there. Right, so yeah, so Eastern Kalinga we differentiated from Eastern Kalinga, and they were the feudatories. So because they are between Pallavas and Kadambas, so Pallavas will dominate over them, and they were the feudatories of Pallavas. Now, if they are feudatories of Pallavas, that means sometimes they are under the control of Pallavas, sometimes they are autonomous, sometimes they are independent. And it depends, you know, how important, obviously, how strong the rule of Pallavas is. Whenever the Pallavas are very, very strong, they become, you can say, these feudatory, right, subsidiary of Pallavas. But whenever the Pallavas are weak, they will become independent. So that's how this kingdom is surviving over here. Right, so you know feudalism now. So capital is Kolar. Okay, one more thing important associated with them, that because this is Karnataka, right? So here you find that they provide patronage to which religion? To Jain. And this distinguishes them. So now, two, three things which you can remember about Gangas. One is their feudatories of Pallavas. Second, their capital is Kolar. That is the only strength they have. And third thing is the patronage in this city, in this reign, is basically given to Jain. That's it. That's the only thing we need to talk about Pallavas. So Jainism, keywords Jainism, keywords Kolar itself says a lot of things, plus Pallavas, that's it. Okay, another small kingdom, Kadambas. Kadambas is northern Karnataka. You already saw the location. So their capital is Banavasi, right? Vaijanti or Banavasi, both are same. So again in Karnataka, let's come here. Yeah, these are Kadambas, and this is their capital, Banavasi. So that's one part. Their capital is Banavasi. Plus, also with Kadambas, we will realize that now Kannada is growing. Right? This is the point. From Kadambas, we will observe that gradually the career of Kadambas is growing. The career of Kannada is growing, and Kannada inscription. So earliest Kannada inscription is with the Kadambas. So in Karnataka, we are observing that two Kannada dynasties. One is Kadambas, and another one is Gangas. Right? Kadambas. The important king over here is Mayur Sharman. Right, again, let's get back. The founder over here is Mayur Sharman. As I said, the important person in every dynasty is the founder, right? One of the important person is founder, and then we see that somebody has contributed something. So Mayur Sharman is the founder. Now you will find that Mayur Sharman is so strong that he has defeated Pallavas. Right, but again, observe something, that this is 345 AD, right? This is technically, we are talking about Gupta era, right? We are talking about flashback, we are talking about background. Yeah, so in flashback, in Gupta era, Pallavas are also not very, very strong. So they had defeated Pallavas. This is okay, but Pallavas at this point is not that strong, right? It's not like he has a big victory. But yes, the Mayur Sharma is the founder. This is something we can understand. Second thing is Brahmins. Brahmins are getting grand over here. So support over here is not of Jain, but the Brahmanas. Right, so their neighbor Gangas are associated with Jain, but Kadambas are associated with Brahmins, and it goes without saying that it is not like if they are promoting Jainism or Brahmanism, they will be against any other religion. No, that is not the case. They are not against any religion. It is all, tolerance is still there, right? Tolerance is there, but a religion which is being supported by the state, or basically the state, you can say kings who are following a particular religion, that is Brahmanism. So both the neighbors have different inclination. Right, Gangas are inclined towards Jainism. Kadambas are inclined towards Brahmanism. Right, who's the founder? Founder is, if you make this diagram, this is done. Right, you don't have to look back at it. Okay, so then your founder is Mayur Sharman. But this is flashback, very, very old dynasty, which is coming from the Gupta era. A small dynasty in the Gupta era. Yeah? Okay. One more thing which we would like to understand over here, one more person, is your Kakushta Varman. Right? Kakushta Varman. Why he's important? Kakushta Varman is important because he has matrimonial alliance with Gupta. Which Gupta? We had read this in Gupta period, and it was Chandragupta III. Right? Chandragupta II. So Chandragupta II had this matrimonial alliance. Right, then Ravi Verma is last important, not important, right? Not at all important. So you can skip Ravi Verma. Kakushta Varman you can have in your mind. Then Mayur Sharman you can have in your mind. Mayur Sharman is the founder. Kakushta Varman, somebody who is related to Samadhi Gupta ji, right? And Kakushta Varman is related to or connected to Gupta Empire. So then he makes sense. So two names are good enough. Not at all, not any other name is required or important over here. Right? Okay. So again, keywords. Kadambas keywords. First of all, Brahmanism. They will support Brahmins. Second, founder Mayur Sharman. Third, capital Banavasi, and Kakushta Varman. That's it. Nothing else. Right, so we are done with these two dynasties, small dynasties. Right? Okay. Let's move ahead. Now I have made these timelines which are not at all legible on the board right now, right? But these timelines, let me explain what is this, right? That one side I've written all the years, right? And then this is the row of your Pushyabhuti. This is the row of Chalukyas. This is the row of Pallavas. Right? This was something you wanted to, you were dreaming of. Yeah, if we can have all the empires together, we'll be able to relate. We'll be able to relate who is contemporary of who. Yeah. So this is your like dream come true. So yeah. So this is the timeline, accurate timeline, which will tell you that Harshvardhan and Pulkesin are contemporary. Right? So Harshvardhan, right? Pulkesin, brother Vishnuvardhan, and Mahendravarman. Now you can see, at the same spot, right, from 600 to 650, or first 50 years in zone A, right? And the first 50 years you're talking about. So we remember 600 to 650 is Harshvardhan, and we already know Pulkesin too. Right? So now you will also get to know after some time Vishnuvardhan, then you get to know Mahendravarman, and by the time you know all, this timeline will make a lot of sense to you. Are you getting a point? Right? If you want, I will also share the Excel sheet, so that if you want to make some amendment here and there, you can do that. Also, I'll share the actual high definition format, right, HD format on your Telegram channel. Right? So from there also you can do that. More than this is not required. What you can do, maybe you can take a printout of this. Right, like this. You can take a printout like this. It's okay if it is not visible. And then if you want to add something, update on this, you can do that. Right, hardly three pages you have print out, and all these 3-4 kingdoms are done. And the same thing you'll do in the other era as well. Right? Why? Because you must understand that the number of dynasties, number of players are increasing. So we need to figure out a system which will help us understand how is this happening. Otherwise, when we will study Pushabhuti, we'll forget about Chalukyas. When we'll talk about Chalukyas, we will mix Pallavas with them, and it will be very, very tough to understand. So these rows will actually make your life very, very simple. Right? So these rows, maybe you can take these 3 pages print out, right, and then write all things about Pulkesin. Right? You can write he defeated Harshvardhan, he gave him this title, Uttarpathanatha, right? Uttarpatha. His title, etc. Whatever you want to write over here, you can write. Then he defeated him, he got defeated by him. All these things you can write, right? So this will also be like a mind map plus kind of activity plus kind of homework, which will give you a lot of clarity about these things, right? Plus, most importantly, you get to know the contemporaries, right? You get to know the chronology, and most importantly, again, the interaction of 2 wings. Now this will make sense to you. Right? Otherwise, it becomes very tough. Who defeated whom? How it is happening? So this will sort life for you, and I hope you'll be able to make best use of it. Okay, so let's start Chalukyas. Okay, so now we are going to talk about Badami Chalukyas. So Badami Chalukyas. So Badami. So before we go into Badami, so first of all, they conquered Kadambas, and Kadambas were controlled by the Badamis, Chalukyas, Badami Chalukyas. Now where is Badami? Right. So again towards the northern Karnataka, you have Badami. Right, Badami. Also, I'm introducing 2 more places over here. Right. 2 more places which we will be talking about. Yeah. Is it visible? Okay. So the point is ki Badami, then this is your Pattadakal, right? Pattadakal, and the third spot is basically a great trading center, right? It is Ahole, right? Ahole. So Badami, Pattadakal, and Ahole, they are actually at the same spot. They are here only. So if you know your sorry, not here. If you know your this thing. I don't know what I did. Okay, let's try to revert. I had misused my power. Okay, better. No, not yet. Okay, not yet. Okay. Yeah. So my point is, these 3 are actually very close, and in this empire, we'll talk about them, right? And so they are basically close to Badami only. So all the happenings, all the important things, right? All the happening places are here only. Badami. That is the reason it's second Badami and Ahole. They're not the same place. They're different places. But Badami. It's better to do like this. Right? There are 3 places. One is Badami, then Pattadakal, and one is Ahole. All 3 are together only. Ahole is a great commercial center, right? There is a guild, famous guild here, which is Ayyavole. On the name of that guild only, this place is called as Ahole, because it's basically the center of you can say trade, and on the name of this guild, it's called as Ahole. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to our Chalukyas. So now Chalukyas, you will see that the story starts from Pulkesin 1. Right? Let's make a timeline over here. Or you can use the same timeline later. But story starts from roughly again in the zone of 550 to 600. Right? So 535 to 566. 535 to 566. It is Pulkesin 1. It's not Pulkesin 2. It's Pulkesin 1. It should not be Pulkesin 2 because this is not the era of Harshvardhan. So Pulkesin 1. So he is the main founder. He is the founder. Right? So now he is the one who will establish his capital at Badami. Karnataka. Right? Northern Karnataka. Plus he will take some titles like Satyashaya. So from here, a humble beginning will be there. Start of the empire will be there. So Chalukyas will start to begin from Pulkesin 1. Right? Okay. Now we are talking about Pulkesin 1. So he's the founder. He took some title. Also see that he is doing Ashwamedha sacrifice. Important? Yes, important. Ashwamedha. What this tells us? Ashwamedha. Do this exercise. Do this Ashwamedha sacrifice. Tells us that Chalukyas are also inclined towards Brahmanical religion. Right? Now we see that Buddhism is not impacting a lot. Also, this is Karnataka. So it is not about Buddhism. It is Jainism. Right? So overall, you see that still you find something related to Jainism, but not Buddhism. And it is surprising. That till the point we're talking about Harshvardhan as well in the North India. Buddhism is still there, but in South India you see that Buddhism now hardly exists. Here, one of the biggest empire we are discussing, and we are not talking about Buddhism. Right? A slight discussion or the minor discussion in South India. What we are doing is not about Buddhism, but it is about Brahmanism and a little bit of Jainism. So now Buddhism and Jainism are sidelined. So after Gupta Empire, what we are discussing, that once the big empire like Gupta Empire supports Brahmanism, gradually the other 2 religions will be sidelined. So now here you find that in Pulakeshin, Ashwamedha Yagya. Then after that, his son of Pulakeshin, Kirtivarman, right? He's the one who will take Banvasi as well, defeat Kadambas. Plus, there are small kingdoms here and there, Mauryans, Nalas, etc., etc. Overall, it means, no, none of the name is important, but overall, it means that expansion is happening. Expansion. So his son Kirtivarman, the Pulakeshin one is the founder, right? Ashwamedha Yagya. Kirtivarman one is expanding, expansion. Right? If you want to add, we can add him like this: 566 to 598, 598. Kirtivarman. Important, not very important. Kirtivarman, right? Only thing is expansion. And then for roughly 10 years, till 610, it will be ruled by Mangalesha. Now, who is Mangalesha? So after Kirtivarman, the rule has passed to Mangalesha, his brother Mangalesha. But somebody is waiting, somebody is struggling, somebody wants to get the kingdom of his father. Right? Who? So it is the time of Pulakeshin II. So now Pulakeshin II will defeat his Chachaji, right? Mangalesha, right? His uncle Mangalesha. And now he will take back his kingdom. So from 610 to 642, it is the reign of Pulakeshin II. So this is the time, Pulakeshin II. You can also call it as a right now the Chalukyas will be established, right? The area which we are observing, right? So this is the point where Pulakeshin will establish the whole kingdom. He will defeat his uncle first, and then he will take over this kingdom, right? Pulakeshin II will come. So we found some inscription of Mangalesha as well, and that's how we know he existed. So now Pulakeshin II will take over. So now Pulakeshin II is coming. This painting is in Ajanta, right? This is Ajanta painting where Pulakeshin II has drawn his old picture where he is attending an embassy from Persia, Khusro II. So he is an ambassador from Khusro II. So he is attending this ambassador. So this painting is in Ajanta. Right, so we find this painting as well. That means they're still contributing. They're still contributing to Ajanta. They're still contribution to paintings. Right, paintings are still on. Okay, so now let's talk about Pulakeshin II. One of the most powerful, right? The biggest or the most important king we have. We already know this. We understood. We know he has defeated Harshavardhan. Right. So now the Pulakeshin II. Let's bring our timeline back. What happened? Okay. The Pulakeshin II. Now Pulakeshin II will start expanding. He will defeat a lot of people. Right. He will defeat your Kadambas, Alupas, Gangas. So list is never ending. Kadambas, Gangas, Amuras, right? Then he also defeated Mauryans. Now it is not Mauryan kingdom, of course. Mauryans are calling the Mauryans at Konkan. Konkan is basically Goa side, right? Goa, Bombay side and all. So now here, after defeating Konkan, he also took Elephanta caves from them. Elephanta caves. So he has Elephanta caves as well. Then he will also defeat Deccan, including Kalinga. So proper expansion is happening in his reign, right? And most importantly, you know, he defeated Harshavardhana. Harshavardhan. Right, so he is, Kirtivarman, we saw that, some expansion happened during the reign of Kirtivarman. But it is basically Pulakeshin II who will establish this empire, who will expand this empire to the max. Right, and defeating everyone, defeating even Harshavardhan. But what is more interesting is his fight with Pallavas versus Pallavas. Because this whole story of Chalukyas and Pallavas, the real story is Chalukyas versus Pallavas. There is nothing like and Pallavas. There is Chalukyas versus Pallavas. So Chalukyas will always, starting from here, this conflict will start, and they will always be fighting with each other. Right, and this fighting will never ever stop. So now we'll talk about Pallavas. We'll come back to that. But also we get to know that he used to exchange embassy with Khusro II, not married. Sorry, exchange embassy with Khusro II. For me, that sign is of marriage. Actually, Khusro II, right? Sasanian king, Persian, Sassanid empire. Right, so he had exchanged that embassy as well. Right. Plus, Huyen Tsang tells us that Huyen Tsang came to his empire. Where is Huyen Tsang? Huyen Tsang was traveling, and as I told you, that Huyen Tsang had gone to Pallavas. Huyen Tsang had gone to what happened. So he told us few things about Pulakeshin. He tells us. So Huyen Tsang tells us. So Huyen Tsang tells us about Pulakeshin. Pulakeshin II. So Huyen Tsang says that though he's a Hindu, right? Hindu, but he's tolerant towards other religions as well. And since he's Huyen Tsang, so definitely you should write Buddhism. You should write Jainism. Right, Buddhism obviously, but yes, Jainism as well. Right. Other than that, he says that he has a very efficient administration. Sorry. Efficient administration, and his empire, his kingdom is divided into 3 main provinces called as Maharashtrakas. Plus every Maharashtrakas has some 99,000 villages. Right, a lot of villages are also there. Understood? Yeah. Okay. So this is the observation of your Huyen Tsang. Okay. Now let's move ahead. So diplomacy, we have seen that he has exchanged diplomacy or ambassadors. Plus religious policy, we understood that he is tolerant. Now let's talk about Pallavas. So yes, he's fighting with Pallavas. Now the first expedition is that he had attacked. Now there are 2 big kingdoms in the same space. Here Pulakeshin II is expanding. Pulakeshin II. Roughly we know exactly, we don't care, but roughly we understand that this is somewhere between 600 and 650. Right, and after some time this will also not matter. But yes, just for the sake of beginning, just for the sake of establishing facts. Right now this matters. 600 to 650. Right, it is Pulakeshin. So Pulakeshin attacked Pallavas. And at this point, Pallavas was being led by Mahendravarman. So Mahendravarman. So Mahendravarman is basically the king of Pallavas at this point of time. Right, and he defeated Mahendravarman. So this is a big fight, and Mahendravarman will eventually lose his life. Right, and Mahendravarman die eventually because of this chaos, because of this fight. Right, so this is the first expedition. Right, and but then Amarendra Bahubali comes, his son Narasimhavarman. Okay, so we're talking about first expedition. Now, the first expedition, one more thing we need to write. So basically, what happened? a lot of area at this spot, a lot of area at this in this spot basically comes under Pallavas, right? So when he defeated Pallavas, he got a lot of area from here. Right? He had actually a lot of southward penetration over here, and he was able to install his brother at Vengi. So he will install his brother at Vengi. His brother's name is Vishnu Vardhan. Vishnu Vardhan. Who Pulkesin. So Pulkesin, what he did, first of all, he defeated Mahendravarman, and then he installed his brother at Vengi. Let me show you at the map as well. Here, sorry, what happened? Okay, so here. So now, so he had defeated Pallavas, and at Vengi, this is Vengi. At Vengi, he established his brother Vishnu Vardhan. This is what? This is his first expedition. Vishnu Vardhan is established over here. Vishnu Vardhan at Vengi. Now he will defeat, he will get some new area. Now who will rule that area? So he will send his brother, okay, go and rule that area. So Vengi is now being ruled by Vishnu Vardhan. So Mahendravarman, first ruler. Right, now comes your second expedition. Now second expedition, if you see, now it's basically the son of Mahendravarman who is Narasimhavarman. And it's Mahendra Bahubali. After Mahendra Bahubali, son of Mahendra Bahubali, Narasimhavarman is at the throne, and he will defeat your Pulkesin too. Right, he will defeat Pulkesin, and he will take this title Vatapi Konda. He will occupy Badami. He will defeat Pulkesin. So Pulkesin, who defeated Harshvardhan, today he got defeated by Narasimhavarman. Plus. Here Narasimhavarman will take a title Vatapi Konda. Vatapi Konda. Vatapi Konda. Vatapi Konda means somebody who has defeated Vatapi, somebody who has defeated some dude Badami. Right, so Badami is basically the crude term, the colloquial term. And the real word is Vatapi. So he has defeated Vatapi, he has defeated Pulkesin too, and occupied Badami, and that is the reason he will take this title of Vatapi Konda. So second expedition was not at all in favor of Pulkesin too, and he lost. He lost a lot of area as well, even he lost Badami. So now they are occupying Badami. Narasimhavarman II is occupying Badami. So for a very, very long, not for very long, for almost 13 years, and 13 years is long, right? For almost 13 years, you'll find Vikramaditya I coming in. Vikramaditya I starts from 655, right? And let's get back to our Pulkesin. Pulkesin ends at 642. So for 13 years, there is silence. The kingdom is being occupied by your Narasimhavarman II, right? By the way, when we will discuss Pallavas, so only these two kings are, not only these two, there are two more, but the most important kings are Mahendravarman and Narasimhavarman. Right? So now we already know them. Right? So we'll talk about them when we are discussing Pallavas. Okay, so now coming back. So Pulkesin II, who has defeated everybody, who has defeated Harshvardhan, who has defeated Pallavas once, finally got defeated by Narasimhavarman, right? Narasimhavarman, and both are one. He is also one, so he is also one. Right? So Narasimhavarman and Mahendravarman. Now after this, they will come back under Vikramaditya I. So now this up and down will continue. It will go on. Right? Now again, it's time they need to conquer back. So Vikramaditya I. Do we have a timeline over here? Yeah. See. So now here, if you see, let me check first of all how much visible is this. How is the visibility? It's okay. Okay, so we were talking about Pulkesin II, right? And we realized that he has defeated Harshvardhana, right? Their titles and all, he has defeated Harshvardhana. He has installed Vishnu Vardhan at Vengi. Now, when he installed Vishnu Vardhan at Vengi, after some time, this will be independent. So this will become Chalukyas at Vengi. So this is a new branch, right? And this, you see, this column will become a new branch because he had installed Vishnu Vardhan. So a new story will emerge from here. Initially, nothing is there. Nobody cares who is sitting at Vengi. But after some time, this Vengi will also become important. Right? We'll come back to Vengi. But again, here he first of all defeated Mahendravarman, right? Defeated by Pulkesin II. But later on, he was defeated by Narasimhavarman. Right, he took this title Vatapi Konda, and then there is a gap for almost 13 years. Right, it was occupied by Pallavas only. But then you came the next king, who is Vikramaditya. Right, so this is something I want you to understand. If you use this timeline, eventually it will be like very, very easy for you. So Vikramaditya I. Now he will claim his territory. This is my territory. I have to fight. So now you see, now he will take revenge. He will go and capture Kanchi. Kanchi is the capital of Pallavas. Right. So now he will push out Pallavas. He will reestablish his authority, and then he will attack Pallavas. He will defeat Pallavas, and now he's sitting at their capital. Are you getting my? And he will take a title, Raj Malla, somebody who has defeated Mallas, somebody who is the Raja of the Mallas. They used to call themselves Mallas, right? So he will call himself as Raj Malla. Right? I'm going into this nitty-gritty because from here you can get some MCQs or something, right, related to these expeditions. That is the reason we are having this discussion. Right? So yeah, the sovereign of the Mallas, the Raja of the Mallas, the Raja of the Pallavas. So he took this title, Raj Malla. Plus he defeated nearby kingdoms, Chera, Cholas, Pandyas. Right? So you find that Vikramaditya I will take his revenge. He will go down, he will capture Kanchi, and he will also defeat Chera, Cholas, Pandyas over here, the small kingdoms, very, very small kingdoms. Right, so they are back from Vikramaditya I. They are back. Okay, then Vijayaditya. Again, it's not like everybody is important. It's just like we are going through various things. So Vikramaditya I. Also, title is Vikramaditya. See. So first person who took this title, took this name of Vikramaditya, he actually ensured that he behaves like Vikramaditya. Vikramaditya is an important title for us. Right? So he took this title and he took the revenge. So Pulkesin II, finally, revenge taken by Vikramaditya I. Vijayaditya will come, some temple activity will happen, not very, very important. Then Vikramaditya II. Right? Vikramaditya II. Now Vikramaditya II again is attacking. Right? Now Vikramaditya II is again attacking the Kannada, the Pallavas. Right? And he will defeat Nandivarman II. So at this point of time, Pallavas king is Nandivarman II. Do we have the timeline again? Yeah, see. So Vikramaditya II. And at this spot, king of Pallavas is Nandivarman II. Again defeated by Vikramaditya II. Right? When he will defeat, Vikramaditya II defeats, he will go and make a temple, which is Virupaksha temple. Yeah. So he will defeat the Pallavas, and then he will make a temple called as Virupaksha temple. Virupaksha temple. Right? It is basically his wife who is getting this done. Right? A lot of things you ask your wife to complete. Right? And I'm busy with the kingdom, you go and make temples. Something like that. So his wife basically will make this temple, Virupaksha temple. But the idea of this temple came from Kanchi only. Right? This temple is inspired by another temple of Pallavas, which is your Kailashnath temple. Right. So when they had gone south, when they had gone to Kanchipuram, basically the Pallava kingdom, he saw that, oh my God, what a beautiful temple they have made. Right. What a beautiful Kailashnath temple is. Right. Kailashnath temple is like we have. Can we have Kailashnath temple? Wait, let me show you Kailashnath temple. later on we'll miss the story. So it's okay. Let's go and see. Let's go and check. Okay. Yeah. So this is technically Kailash Nath temple. When he saw this temple for the very first time, your Vikramaditya II, right? Second Vikramaditya. So when he saw this temple, oh my God, what a beautiful temple is this, right? So technically, Pallavas are the one who are known for Dravidian architecture, right? Dravidian style of temple architecture, right? Dravidian temple architecture, who are basically known for making such kind of a viman. Pallavas are the one who will create these very heavy shikhars, right? Plus again, mandap is similar to what we have seen. Mandap is similar to what we have seen in this pillared mandap. We have seen. Hang